In Moscow, continue the celebrations of the Bolshevik Revolution. From the Kremlin Palace in the Red Square, Stalin delivers a speech in which he predicts that the invasion forces are heading towards disaster. He encourages the population to defend Holy Russia and avoids mentioning Soviet casualties while exaggerating those of the Germans as he attempts to confront the inhabitants of the city. However, he affirms, "We face the greatest danger in our history. Ukraine and White Russia, Belarus, have been occupied. Leningrad is under siege and Moscow under threat. We will fight until we win the great patriotic war, but we need our allies to open a second front in Europe to scatter Hitler's forces." In Minsk, 12,000 Jews are murdered by the German forces and buried in mass graves in the outskirts of the city. In Rostenburg, Ketrin, in northeastern Poland, before flying to Munich, Hitler foresees in a meeting with the high commands of the Wehrmacht that the oil fields of the Caucasus will be occupied by the beginning of the coming year. The German army has a pressing need for fuel to enable its war machinery to function. The Kriegsmarine announces that its submarines and surface ships will attack any American vessel now that they know that their freighters are being armed. 400 RAF bombers attack Berlin, Mannheim, the Ruhr region, and Cologne. Hitler arrives at Munich from his headquarters in Rostenburg. In the Burger Braukeller beer hall, the anniversary of the 1923 Putsch is commemorated. During his speech, the Führer blames Great Britain for the continuation of the war and for being the benefactor of the Judeo-capitalist conspiracy, which is embodied by the USSR. He also mocks the American president because of his theories on the Nazi plans in South America. He affirms that the Soviet Union has been virtually defeated and ends by saying, "No matter how long the war lasts, I assure you that the last soldier standing in the battlefield will be German. We are deciding what the future of Europe will be for the next 1,000 years." Meanwhile, in the north of Russia, German armored units advance through River Volchov and lay siege to Tikhvin. Their goal is to cut completely all communications to Leningrad and to converge with the Finnish troops in Karelia. In the center, in the area of Teploi, the forces of General Guderian face a Soviet counterattack led by several divisions equipped with T-34 tanks. The inability of the German heavy units to move through the muddy terrain contrasts with the mobility of the T-34s, which make them fall back. The American Senate passes an amendment to the Neutrality Acts. Roosevelt meets with the Secretary of the Navy, Frank Knox, and with Admiral Harold Stark, Chief of Naval Operations, to discuss the new situation. The forces of Army Group North occupy the town of Tikhvin, an important Soviet communications center, and take more than 20,000 prisoners. In Ukraine, the troops of the Reich and their Romanian allies advance along the southern coast of Crimea and take the city of Yalta. In Moscow, Marshal Semyon Timonchenko meets Stalin to analyze the counteroffensive with which they will attempt to retake the city of Rostov-on-Don. Timonchenko has been put in charge of the Ukrainian front and has lost up to date more than 1.5 million men. In London, the Admiralty informs that the destroyer Cossack has been sunk. From the island of Malta, which acts as a policeman in the middle of the Mediterranean, Royal Navy ships and RAF aircraft relentlessly attack the Axis convoys. Off the coast of Tripoli, 10 Italian ships with supplies for the Africa Corps are sent to the bottom. RAF bombers target the Italian city of Naples and Hamburg in Germany. In the United States, more than 400 merchant ships and oil tankers will be armed immediately. In Rostenburg, the high commands of the Wehrmacht convince Hitler that Operation Barbarossa will not be completed this year, and they will have to wait until spring. The Führer decides to reorganize the troops of the Eastern Front and to review their objectives. Army Group South, commanded by General Gerd von Rundstedt, also known as the Last Prussian, will be expected to take Sebastopol and Rostov, cross River Don, and seize the oil refineries of Maykop and Kuban. In the center, the forces of Marshal Fedor von Bock will continue their offensive against Moscow. In the north, the armies of Marshal Wilhelm von Leeb will have to complete the encirclement of Leningrad. Churchill, during a reception at the City Hall of London, declares that the war is spreading across the European continent, northern Africa, and it might soon be fought in most of Asia.
That should the United States become involved in the war with Japan, a British declaration would follow within the hour.
If the territorial ambitions of Japan drag the United States into the conflict, we will support the Americans and will immediately declare war on the Japanese, he states. He later affirms that he has taken hold of information suggesting that Hitler will try to strike a peace accord with Britain. Joachim von Ribbentrop, foreign minister and official spokesman of the Third Reich, denies in front of the press the statement made by the British Prime Minister Winston Churchill that Germany is looking for a peace deal. In Russia, the German troops hold their positions in the north and center of the country. In the south, they are now 30 kilometers from the port of Kerch in the eastern coast of Crimea. British aircraft bomb Naples and Brindisi in Italy. General Charles Hunziger, Minister of War of the Vichy government and a supporter of the Statute on Jews, dies. His plane suffers an accident while landing. A force of 20,000 Canadian soldiers set sail from Halifax, Nova Scotia, Canada, to the Far East. The convoy is protected by American warships. President Roosevelt delivers a speech in the Arlington Cemetery commemorating the anniversary of the First World War armistice in 1918. He states, "Today, we can even see clearer how much we owe to those who died."
The entire world and are threatened in each case to bring on the gigantic conflict.
We know this because in the present, we suffer from the same threat.
It is right to point out
The wars that safeguard the liberty of nations must be won at all costs.
on the use of force or on the threat of force.
In the north of the Soviet Union, the Russian army counterattacks in the region of River Volkhov, which connects Lake Ilmen with Lake Ladoga. In Orcha, Belarus, the high commands of Army Group Center hold a meeting to analyze the offensive against Moscow. With temperatures that drop to minus 30 degrees Celsius and with the scarcity of all ports of supplies, Marshal Fedor von Bock believes that the armored units are not prepared to carry out the strategic plan. In the south, the forces of the Reich reach the Strait of Kerch. At Rommel's request, 20 new submarines arrive at the Mediterranean Sea. Admiral Karl Donitz delivers an official note of protest to the Naval Operations Command as their transfer weakens the Atlantic Fleet. Colonel Frank Knox, the American Secretary of the Navy, declares that the time to take a decision has arrived. "We cannot continue hesitating while the Japanese constantly violate our rights," he tells the press. In Tokyo, the Japanese government assembles at a special session to discuss the stance taken by the Americans. The naval bases of Ominato and Mako will be in charge of the defense of Japan.